Will I cry? Will I leave behind?
Hi guys, okay, today's video is for those of you who are scared to make a phone call. Now this could be socially, but more often than not this is to do with business or to do with some sort of work kind of scenario. And I work with different clients mostly on business and mindset, and this is something that comes up time and time again. And before we even start, I'm going to hold my hands up and say that this is an area that I have to work on, that picking up the phone and actually speaking to someone on the phone has become uncommon. We are so used to now emailing, texting, WhatsApping, messaging on Facebook and social media that actually picking up the phone suddenly has made us feel really vulnerable. And that's a weird position to be in, but it's where we're at. So the good thing about that is that because this is not just you, it really isn't. It isn't just you that feels like this. It's a lot of people. If you build up the courage and you get to a place where you can make that phone call, what it does is, without you even having to do anything, it makes you stand out. It makes you stand out from the crowd and it makes you look proactive. So that is a really good reason to start making those phone calls. So my tips on making those phone calls are, first of all, it isn't as big a deal as you think it's going to be. And those people taking that phone call don't think, oh my God, why is the phone rang? Why is somebody calling me? They don't think that. They think, oh, there's that person. We'll have that phone call and that's it. And there isn't this big hype that you're building up in your head. My tips on making the phone call are: set your agenda beforehand. So make sure the person knows you're going to make that phone call, so that there's no element of, oh, I've got to go somewhere, I've got to rush off or anything like that. So, you know, if you want to send them an email or a text and say, I'll give you a call tomorrow when you're free, so you know when they're free. And I would often put a time limit on the phone call. So I'll give you a few, you know, I'll give you a call, 5-minute chat, and we'll just have a chat about, and then set the agenda. So whatever it is that you're going to talk about. So that person also feels well prepared for that phone call. They know that it's roughly going to be a 5-minute phone call, a 10-minute phone call, a 2-minute phone call. You know, if you say it's a quick call, make it a quick call. And they know what the conversation is going to be about. And that will alleviate any of their worries about the phone call and your worries about the phone call. You all know where you're at. You kind of know when a logical outcome of the phone call has happened, and then you can say goodbye. So once you've done that, you make that call. If it's a really important call where you know there's like high stakes to that call, stand up. In fact, you know what, even not that, just stand up when you're on the phone, because it generates a different kind of energy. We all have, oh, it might just be me, but we've all made those phone calls when we've had to phone in sick and we've like hung off the bed upside down, or we've laid down because we're like, I'm so ill. The sick phone calls. So the opposite is true when it needs to be an important phone call. Get on your feet. And actually there's a tip for women, that is wear your heels. For some reason it empowers us and makes us feel strong. So if that makes you feel better, then do that. Whatever makes you feel good, do that. That's important in life. So you make your phone call, and I would suggest starting with a question when you make a call. If you know that person, or you know something about that person and you can bring that in, it's a really good way to let that person know at the start of the conversation that you are interested in them. So if you know that their wife just had a baby, just say, oh God, congratulations, how you getting on, how are things, you know, how exciting. Ask them something about their newborn, or, you know, oh, I saw that you went to Mexico last month, how was that? I'm thinking of going to Mexico, where did you stay? Something that allows them to know that you're interested. It doesn't have to be a personal thing. It could be, I saw that you won that award, congratulations, that's amazing, how did it feel? Whatever, I don't know. Think of something that is going to remind them that you take an interest in them, because we all like to be flattered, we all like compliments, we all like to know that somebody is interested in what we do. So if you start with something like that, you start with a question, first it allows you to be let off the hook because they've got to then speak, but also it allows them to know that you're on their side. They're already feeling good about you from then on. Confirmation bias is going to kick in, and they're going to sort of want you to live up to that expectation. They're going to want to be on your side from going forward from there. So start with that, and then just crack on with what you want to say. Remember that the reason you're phoning is to benefit them. Even if the reason you're phoning is to ask for a job or ask something like that, that doesn't mean that you aren't offering them something. So take the time to recognize that and realize that you have worth. So if you believe in yourself enough, you reaching out to somebody for work or for an opportunity is a good thing for them, because you're worth working with. You're good enough to work with those people. So all you're doing is letting them know that. All you're doing is giving them that information and letting them know, hey, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm doing, this is what I've done already. I'd love to work with you. I love the vibe of your workplace. I follow you, what you guys do already, and it's fantastic. I'd love to be part of that. Let's find a way to connect. And if the next thing is, then is there a follow-up to that phone call? Are you going to meet for coffee? You're gonna go to their workplace? Are you gonna, whatever it is, what's going to be the next step? And often I will say, look, I'm going to drop you an email with some details on. If it's something like work stuff, you say, look, I'm going to send you some stuff I've just finished doing. I'm going to email you that after this. Then let's get a date to grab a cup of tea, and we'll have a catch up and a chat, and let's just throw some ideas around. It needs to be light, breezy. You don't need to, make it this big deal if it's a work thing. Obviously, if it's a more serious conversation, again, sometimes you've just got to have these conversations, and you've got to know what you've got to say and get that out. And the thing is with conversations on the phone is that we have to think on our feet, and so that makes us feel nervous. But remember, it is a two-way conversation. This isn't a monologue. You don't have to keep talking. Allow that person to speak. Ask questions so you can have a moment to breathe, and you can have a moment to just think yourself. It doesn't have to be this like barrage of information so that the person ends up going okay, and they haven't got anything to say. Ask questions, ask what they think, and allow it to just be. I would suggest thinking about your phone conversation before. I personally would practice it out loud and think about what particular scenarios could happen, what could be said, what questions they may ask. Do be prepared. I wouldn't ever script it, because they could say complete opposite to what you have in your head. It's good to kind of know the points that you want to get out, but from that, let it be, because the conversation might go a totally different way, and you just have to go with that. You just have in your head, this is the reason I want to make this phone call, this is roughly how long I've said it's going to take and it should take, this is how I want to finish it off. I would love to, the next step be to meet with that person, to send them something, whatever it is, and just be your lovely self. What is the worst that's going to happen? The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to, what's the worst thing? They could hang up. They're not going to hang up. What are you going to say? You're not going to like screech and shout at them. It is what it is. And if you let go of the outcome, that is the best way. I think when we get desperate for something to work out the best way, we get all needy and clingy and weird and intense, let that go. So if you need to do a little just pre-phone call calming and meditation, then do that. Just take 10 nice calming breaths and just let go of the outcome, okay? People are people. They're just people. And also they can't see you. And I have made phone calls before when I've physically cringed because I've had to make a phone call, like actually cringed and pulled a face. Like, I can remember having to say something I didn't want to say, and I was on the phone and I said it, and then I went, they can't see you doing that. They didn't see me doing that, so it's totally fine. So if you need to do that, then do that. But just get your conversation out, have the conversation. It will be fine. And you really do have to flex that muscle. You do have to start thinking, like, I've got to just make that call. So if you can make some less important calls before your big call, then do more of that. And yeah, just let go of the outcome. Breathe through it. Don't make it such a big deal. I think if you hype it up to too much, you probably end up feeling a little bit let down about how nothing the conversation is, to be honest. And when you do make that call and you do make yourself known, I guarantee you that things will start to move for you and things will start to change. If it's a work thing, you just need to make those calls, like, just get it done. Just start doing it. Just book some times in to speak to those people and get it done. And I would love to hear how you get on. Message me below, message me on Twitter at Holly Matthews, Instagram hollymatthews84. I'm on facebook.com/IamHollyMatthews. My website is iamhollymatthews.com, and of course you can message under here, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this to your friends and loved ones and people who you think also find it hard to make those phone calls. Don't make it such a big deal, just have a go at it and let me know how you get on, and I'll speak to you all soon.